I guess I'd start out by, recognizing that, their guys played really, really hard. You lose a one-possession game. So many plays, you just wish you could, go back in time and change, and you can't. Thought in the middle of the second half when we went sort of on an offensive drought, our defense wasn't nearly what it was for the other 30 minutes of the game. IU took the lead, and then I thought we clamped down a little bit harder defensively. But as I told our guys, we're going to have times where, even your best teams on offense don't score, 4 or 5 possessions in a row, and we've got to be able to keep the other team from scoring, and we didn't do that. I think two guys that we had really highlighted coming into the game, their two best players, they played like it. And I thought our guys competed, but came up short. It's a great college basketball game. This place is awesome. Great tradition. We had a ton of respect for IU and what the job that Archie's doing. But at the same time, I'd be lying if I felt like we didn't have an opportunity to win, and we didn't take advantage of it. Wasn't the officials' fault. Wasn't any fault other than our own. And Indiana, I'm certain, had something to do with it as well.
Chris, when you guys went through that offensive drought, did you like the shots that you guys were getting?
A few of them. I felt like a few of them. We couldn't establish anything inside today, and we shot an awful lot of threes. And I think we're a really good three-point shooting team. The ball's got to get in the lane first, and it never really did. I don't think our big guys gave us much of an offensive post presence. You give their guys a lot of credit for fighting the front and returning on their ball screen hedges and not allowing easy passes into the post. Conversely, I thought that was a problem for us. And we have to correct that. We got to get better interior play so we can play a little bit more inside out.
You mentioned defensive breakdowns down the stretch there. Where were those?
Mostly in the post, but I could probably talk about they ran a ball screen where they bring the other big high, and we call it high action, and they scored 5 or 6 points on it, and we didn't defend it the way we needed to, and we've repped that a lot, but obviously not enough, and that action hurt us. A couple of times I thought we played great defense, only not come up with a loose ball, specifically the one with like a couple seconds on the shot clock, and Juwan snatches it up right next to Steve and lays it in, and that was a killer. A couple miscommunications on ball screens, not fighting in the post as hard as we should. Yeah.
What you remember from previous Archie Miller teams, is this on course from what he was at Dayton when you registered there?
Honestly, it's been such a long time, and I'm not being coy. I can't remember our first game this year, let alone playing Arch. I know that their team's always going to play man-to-man. They're going to take a lot of pride in how they defend ball screens. They're going to hard hedge. There's a toughness about them. But I thought we answered them, tooth and nail. We just didn't get the job done at the end. But this team's going to always play hard. They're going to have a spirit. They're going to be prepared.
Morgan had big hands, but how key was that Tennessee three and what?
Yeah. Well, it all started because it was a cross screen for bringing their best player to the block, Juwan Morgan. And I think our guard was trying to help our big, who probably was struggling to get through the screen. And then he gets caught up, sort of a screen-the-screener action, doesn't get out there in time. But, prior to that point, Tennessee hadn't done a whole lot. We had talked about him as a freshman out there. He was more of a conservative, run the team, get the ball to the right guys. And, he doesn't necessarily come off that screen like and instantly catch and shoot. So as long as you're not just totally hung up in the weeds and you can get there, he probably won't take that shot. But I don't know if we fell down or we just ran face, into the chest of the screen. but give him a lot of credit. It's a big-time shot, and, that's why they're in the winner's circle.
You talked about wanting to get off to a quicker start, and it looked like that happened today. Was that just being a little more patient on offense and taking more shots?
Well, I thought we, number one, we defended, and then secondarily, we did a really good job of taking care of the ball. I think we had 2 turnovers at halftime. We weren't nearly as good in the second half. We end up with a pretty low number, but when you go into halftime only having 2, you'd like to see that number at 6 or 7 rather than 9 at the end of the game. We had some right at the stretch, down the stretch, and some crucial times that hurt us when it was a 1-possession game.
Just for the most part, you guys made Langford kind of work for everything that he got. He still has 21. What did you think of his performance?
He's a really good player. He draws a lot of fouls. I think he drew half their team's fouls. A couple of them, I don't know. But he does a great job. Plays head down, gets to the rim. He's got a great touch, as I said in the before we played press conference. He's a good player.
They seem not to be able to stop Jordan until that last 5 minutes. Did they change things up in that last 5 minutes play?
Not really. They only changed things up in the last maybe 45 seconds or so when they started switching 1 through 5 every ball screen. No, I thought we had some looks. I thought we had some looks down the stretch when it was a 1-possession game. It was tied, and a couple loose balls under the basket that we just couldn't quite come up with.
One more, Coach, anyone?
Other than the 2 missed free throws, good shots, they had 1 offensive rebound. Anything like that.
Are you doing something right
In that respect, or
Well, apparently, we just want to be a team that, different ways to teach, defensive rebounding, and we want to be a team that hits our man and carves out space and doesn't give second shots. So maybe we're getting better in that area, or maybe Indiana didn't go as hard as we anticipated. But, it's all for naught anyway, so we got to get better.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.